question we forgot to name. The room is filled with almost answers, and a feeling that never explained. Oh yeah. Your eyes stay fixed on the moment, like it's afraid to move on. We keep our truths folded in silence, one thin but still holding strong. I don't ask for something clearer, I don't push the past aside. I just let the seconds linger where our words still try to hide. I'm carrying what we never said, like it still belongs to us. Not heavy enough to break my hands, just enough to feel the trust. Every pause between our breaths, every look we chose instead. I'm carrying what we never said. The street outside keeps on breathing, footsteps fade into the night. Everyone's chasing a reason to stay or to leave it behind. We learn how to read each other without opening our mouths. Like love was a quiet agreement we never needed to shout. I don't need to hear a promise, I don't need a final sign. Some things live between the sentences, and that's for time. I'm carrying what we never said, like it still belongs to us. Not heavy enough to break my hands, just enough to feel the trust. Every pause between our breaths, every look we chose instead. I'm carrying what we never said. Maybe truth is in a statement, maybe it's how we stay in the space where nothing's spoken, yeah, but nothing slips away. I'm carrying what we never said, not as weight, not as regret. I'm carrying what we never said, just a shared understanding. I'm carrying what we never said. We haven't finished yet, no. I'm carrying no need to frame it in gold, no need to call it ahead. I'm carrying what we never said. I'm carrying what we never said. The radio fades, we let it rage, babe. The night loosens its grip slowly, like it knows the work is done. Every worry finds a corner where it doesn't need to run. The room feels lighter than before, not because it changed its shape, but because we learned to stay here without asking it to wait. I've been thinking hope is quieter than the way we say turning faith into a question, asking hope to hurry up. I just feel the moment soften, like it's learning how to stay. Some things don't arrive as answers, they just quietly remain. I don't need the future louder or the past to rearrange. Some directions show themselves by allowing us to change. This is where tomorrow can rest, when the night begins to fade. All these fears that needed daylight lose the power that they made. I don't need a final reason, I don't need the truth defined. This is where tomorrow can rest and leave the weight behind. Maybe hope is not a promise or a map we try to read. Maybe it's the space we're given to become what we can be. This is where tomorrow can rest, not to end but to begin. All these moments still unfolding, feel enough to settle in. I don't need the world to hurry or the years to fall in line. This is where tomorrow can rest for a while. This is where tomorrow can rest, when the night begins to fade. All these fears that needed daylight lose the power that they made. I don't need a final reason, I don't need the truth defined. This is where tomorrow can rest and leave the weight behind. The light stays just a little longer, as if it knows we're here. The paper talks in heavy numbers, faces blur into the page. Every headline feels like pressure we're supposed to rearrange. I see people moving carefully, like the ground might shift below. Every step a small agreement, not to let the feeling show. No one here is looking for heroes, no one's asking to be saved. We're just learning how to stand together in the mess we've made. We're listening to each other breathe, in a room too full of change is less about shouting and more about holding space, making room for every heartbeat that refuses to be erased. We're listening to each other breathe, not to judge, not to decide, just to notice we are standing on the same uncertain side. No grand line to draw the meaning, no one left outside the frame. We're listening to each other breathe, and nothing feels the same. The room stays quiet, but it holds us. Settle into corners like it knows where we've been. Street lights hum outside the window, tracing thoughts we don't let in. The day keeps asking for attention, every voice wants something new. You turn the volume down slowly, like you learned what matters too. I've been carrying the echo of everything I did say. If you sit with it in patience, let it fade its own way. I'm waiting out the noise for you, letting ours lose their edge. All these worries asking questions, we don't rush them to the end. I don't need it, I don't need to win the fight. If I'm waiting out the noise for you, I can trust the quiet night. Ooh. Everyone chasing explanations, like they're running out of time, turning moments into headlines, trying to make the moment shine. You don't trade calm for attention, you don't dress the truth in fear. You just stay when things get heavy, like you know the weight will clear. I don't need to solve tomorrow, the morning shows. I just need this steady breathing when the outside won't close. I'm waiting out the noise with you, when the room feels overfilled. All these thoughts without direction, only standing still. I don't need to force the silence, I don't need to chase the light. If I'm waiting out for meanings, I don't need to choose the light. If I'm waiting out the noise with you, I can rest into the night. Maybe peace is something simple that we learn to recognize in the space between our questions, where nothing asks us to decide. I'm waiting out the noise with you, not to disappear or hide, just to let the world keep turning while we stay on the inside. I don't need a grand conclusion, I don't we're both here not saying much, like that's what we chose. The clock keeps time without opinion. The air hums low and slow. Nothing's broken between us, there's just less we need to show. I don't reach for conversation, just to fill the space. Some silences feel honest when they stay in place. We're sitting alone together, not distant, not withdrawn, just letting the moment rest without proving we belong. No walls, no grand surrender, no need to rearrange. We're sitting alone together, and somehow that feels safe. Outside, people cross the evening, each one holding their own weight. Inside, we share quiet that doesn't ask to be explained. Your presence isn't a question, it doesn't pull or bend, it just stays where it landed, like a thought that doesn't end. I don't need to be understood in every passing glance. Some comfort lies in knowing we don't owe the moment chance. We're sitting alone together, not distant, not withdrawn, just letting the moment rest without proving we belong. No walls, no grand surrender, no need to rearrange. We're sitting alone together, and somehow that feels safe. Maybe closeness is in movement or words we have to find. Maybe it's the shared stillness we don't try to leave behind. We're sitting alone together, not fixed, not incomplete, just two breaths in the same room, keeping time quietly. No ending being written, no role we need to play. We're sitting alone together, and that's enough today. The clock keeps going, we don't mind. Keeps changing its posture. like it's unsure how to stand. Every minute feels familiar, without asking to be planned. The room adjusts to our breathing. The walls remember the sound of days that didn't announce themselves, but stayed long enough to count. I've been watching how the moments lose their edges when they pass. Some things fade without leaving, some things deepen as they last. These are the hours, learning our names without needing to be told. All these seconds moving softly, turning newbie for their own. I don't need the time, aid explain, or the future drawn in lines. These are the hours, learning our names as they pass us by. Everyone keeps racing forward, like the present might give way, turning memory into currency, trying hard to make it stay. You just sit inside the moment, like it's allowed to remain. There's a calm in how you let it move, without asking it to change. I don't need the past repeated, or the years to justify. Some truths show up in patience, not in reasons, not in why. These are the hours, learning our names when the evening starts to lean. All these days we never noticed still become what they've been. I don't need the night to hurry or the morning to arrive. These are the hours, learning our names as they pass us by. Maybe time is less a distance and more a way of staying near, teaching us to recognize ourselves as we're standing here. These are the hours, learning our names, not to measure, not to prove, just to see what keeps on breathing as the moment moves. I don't need the years to promise anything they can't define. These are the hours, learning our names as they pass us by. The clock keeps moving gently, like it knows where we've been. announcements, no signs, just a feeling that the air is willing to give me time. I've been learning how to wait without calling it delay. Some roads don't ask for movement, they just ask you to stay. I don't need to see the outcome, I don't need the shape it takes. I just trust the way the moment still knows how to change. There's something still ahead, not loud, not defined, not a promise written clearly, just a sense I don't decline. I don't name it as a victory, I don't frame it as a plan. There's something still ahead, and I'm learning where I stand. Woo! People pass with softer faces, like they've eased into their skin. Every smile feels less demanding than the ones I've seen before this. I don't rush to fill the space where the doubt used to live. Some openings appear when you stop asking them to give. I don't chase a resolution, I don't ask the past to bend. I just keep my eyes open to what might begin. There's something still ahead, not loud, not defined, not a promise written clearly, just a sense I don't decline. I don't name it as a victory, I don't frame it as a plan. There's something still ahead, and I'm learning where I stand. Maybe hope is a direction, maybe it's a quiet trust that the road keeps unfolding, even when it turns to dust. Oh, there's something still ahead, not waiting to be found, just moving at its own pace, somewhere around. I don't reach to hold it tight, I just let it move instead. There's something still ahead. The day keeps opening, so do I. The room feels bigger when it's quiet, like it's listening for a cue. Two cups resting on the table, still warm enough to tell the truth. We don't fill the space with talking, we don't ask it to behave. Every silence finds its place here, without asking to be saved. I've been learning there's a difference between lonely and apart. Some nights ask for understanding, not a cure, not a restart. We're sitting alone together, letting time forget our names. All these thoughts that stay unspoken don't feel heavy in this space. I don't need the quiet broken, I don't need the moment stirred. We're sitting alone together, and somehow that's enough. Everyone keeps feeling like it's something to outrun, turning stillness into absence. Before the feeling's even done, you just let the minutes settle, like they're allowed to stay. There's a comfort in the waiting that doesn't ask to be explained. I don't need the night to offer anything it can't provide. Some connections live in presence, not in reasons, not in time. We're sitting alone together when the world feels out of reach. All these words that lose their meaning finally don't need to speak. I don't need a better answer, I don't need the silence heard. We're sitting alone together, and somehow that's enough. Maybe closeness is a movement or a promise dressed in sound. Maybe it's the way we stay here when there's nothing else around. We're sitting alone together, not to hide or disappear, just to let the moment hold us without asking us to steer. I don't need the dark to soften or the edges brush with love. We're sitting alone together, and somehow that's enough. The room keeps breathing slowly, like it knows we're still here. The room keeps breathing slowly, like it knows we're still here.
I recognize you before the words and the way you pause and smile. Time has moved between our faces, but it hasn't erased the mile. We stand a second longer than the moment really needs, like we're checking the air around us for what still breathes. I don't ask about the distance or the road we didn't take. Some questions don't need answers to feel awake. I'm meeting you again, not as memory, not as then, just two lives crossing quietly where they can. No need to trace an outline of what we used to be. I'm meeting you again and letting it be. Your voice carries something steadier than it did before. Not louder, not restrained, just less unsure. We talk about small things like they're doing important work. Every word feels carefully chosen without being rehearsed. I don't look for what was missing, I don't count the years apart. I just notice how the moment knows where to start. mind that hesitates. Every word feels slightly altered by the space it has to take. The room stays still around me while the city learns your name. I imagine where you're standing, what the air feels like your way. I've been measuring the distances in the pauses when you breathe, not in miles or calendars, but in what we choose to keep. There are miles between the simple things we don't get to share in time. All these moments left suspended, waiting on another line. I don't need the space to close itself or the map to rearrange. There are miles between the simple things, but the feeling stays the same. Oh, oh, baby. Ooh. Everyone keeps asking questions like they're owed an explanation, turning absence into answers, calling patience hesitation. You don't dress the distance up, you don't ask it to behave, you just leave the door half open for the days we couldn't save. I don't need the future settled before I trust what this can be. Some connections growing quiet when they're given room to breathe. There are miles between the simple things when the night leans in too close. All these words I don't deliver travel farther than they're supposed. I don't need the clock to favor us or the hours to explain. There are miles between the simple things, but the feeling stays the same. Oh, yeah. Maybe closeness isn't measured by the places where we stand. Maybe it's the way we listen when we don't hold each other's hand. There are miles between the simple things, not to weaken what we are, just to show how something steady doesn't break apart. I don't need the distance softened or the waiting rearranged. There are miles between the simple things, but the feeling stays the same. There are miles between the simple things, but the feeling stays the same. The line goes quiet slowly, like it knows we're still here. Evening settle into corners like it knows where it belongs. Shadows stretch without asking, nothing here feels wrong. I notice how my breathing finds its rhythm on its own. The day loosens its grip and finally lets me go. I don't replay the hours, I don't rewrite the tone. I just let the moment soften into something new. When the evening slows and the noise steps aside, I feel the shape of time without needing to decide. No endings being spoken, no doors being closed. When the evening slows, streetlights come on gently,
When you stop keeping time, when the evening slows and the noise steps aside, I feel the shape of time without needing to decide. No endings being spoken, no doors being closed. When the evening slows. When the evening slows, not empty, not alone, just the space between the hours, feeling like a home. No promising demanded, no future imposed. When the evening slows, the lights stay on. The hallway stays a little brighter when you leave the lamp on low. Not enough to chase the shadows, just enough to let them show. The night moves slow around the edges, like it's listening to us breathe. Every word we don't deliver still feels honest when we leave. I've been learning how to notice what doesn't ask to be explained, like the comfort in your stillness when the room forgets my name. I'm keeping the lights low with you, letting moments take their time. All these thoughts that press for answers don't feel heavy in this life. I don't need the room to open, I don't need the truth in view. If I'm keeping the lights low with you, I can see just what I need to. Everyone's in search of brightness, trying hard to make it last, turning feelings into signals, reading futures in the past. You don't rush toward conclusions, you don't pull the curtain wide, you just sit beside the quiet, like you trust what stays inside. I don't need to sharpen meaning till it cuts into the night. I just feel the hours soften when you let them pass us by. I'm keeping the lights low with you. When the evening starts to lean, all these things we never mentioned still feel clearly in between. I don't need a clearer picture, I don't need a wider view. If I'm keeping the lights low with you, I can stay right where we are. Maybe love is learning comfort in the spaces left undone, not in chasing after daylight, but in knowing when to come. I'm keeping the lights low with you, not to hide or drift away, just to let the moment settle something, it can stay. I don't need the night to promise anything, it can't come through. If I'm keeping the lights low with you, I'm already home with you. Ooh, the lamp keeps humming softly, like it knows we're not alone. Ooh, the room feels calm without instruction. No plans waiting on the wall. Every thought has loosened from needing meaning at all. I sit inside the quiet, like it's earned the right to stay. Nothing asking to be different, nothing pulling me away. I don't mark this as a closing, I don't name it as relief. I just feel the moment settle around me. Nothing ends here, nothing disappears. The road just keeps on widening as it clears. No final word to borrow, no reason to pretend, nothing ends here. Ooh, the night moves at a slower pace, like it's learned to listen in. Every sound arrives gently, then finds its place again. I don't hold what's almost over, I don't chase what's coming next. Somewhere between the two I finally rest. I don't ask the dark for answers, I don't ask the light to stay. I just trust the steady motion of the wave. Nothing ends here, nothing disappears. The road just keeps on widening as it clears. No final word to borrow, no reason to pretend, nothing ends here. Ooh, yeah. Maybe peace is an arrival, maybe it's release from believing every moment needs to mean. Nothing ends here, not the love, not the doubt. They just change the way they move in and out. No last line being written, no signal at the end. Nothing ends here, nothing ends.